What's going on, everybody? Mortym here, this time excitedly bringing you this first look at a video game called Encased. I have actually been eagerly awaiting to show this off. This game actually just recently entered closed beta, but before I get into any of that, I want to disclose up front that this is a game that I backed on Kickstarter back last October of 2018, roughly. And it's just now reaching its closed beta phase. So I wanted to actually show you guys some of the gameplay, kind of tell you what the game is all about. So just again, up front, I backed this game on Kickstarter. That said, obviously, with the way Kickstarter works, I received no financial compensation from that in any way. This video isn't sponsored. This is me just making a video about a game that I think is really cool at my own behest. With that little disclaimer out of the way, I'm pretty excited about this game, guys. It looks awesome, and right off the bat, it is a sci-fi, post-apocalyptic RPG heavily inspired by Fallout 1 and 2, which means it is a CRPG. If you don't know what that means, look it up. That's probably the easiest thing you can do for yourself. But if you've played Divinity 2, it's very similar. Well, Divinity 1 or 2, really. It's very similar. And the reason for that is that some of the writers from Divinity actually worked on this game, which is actually one of the main reasons I decided to back it on Kickstarter to begin with. In addition to that, I actually just said that it was Fallout inspired as well, and you can very much so tell. If you've ever seen Fallout 1 or 2 or actually played those games yourselves, you'll notice a lot of similarities between that and this. This just looks like a very freshly coated, painted version of Fallout 2 almost, to me anyway. Diving right into it. The point of this particular video is mostly to tell you what the game is about, kind of give you a look at the gameplay while I'm talking about the story setup, things like that. I do actually have a few other videos planned, such as character creation, going over the skills system, things like that. Now, obviously, this is a beta, so technically all of this stuff is still kind of subject to change, so you might see some tweaking, and if that happens, I'll cover it. But again, the point of this particular video is actually just kind of introduce you to what the game is, kind of give you a feel for the art style, the basics of how the game works as the game is rolling in the back and I'm talking. I hope you like what you see, and just kind of diving right into what the game is. The game is set in an alternate 1970s and revolves around the exploration of a facility called the Dome. Now, the Dome was a mysterious structure discovered in a remote desert. It doesn't actually tell you which desert, just a desert somewhere. No one knows who built this. They assume it's some sort of advanced civilization. People are calling the forefathers. Right off the bat, one of the catches about this dome is people quickly realize that the people who enter cannot leave. Once you've passed this barrier that surrounds the dome, there is no getting out, ever. So, in 1971, it starts being explored. That's all well and good. There's a foundation called Cronus that is, founded, obviously, and they begin exploring the dome. They discover amazing technologies, weird artifacts, but there's also, security systems that were built presumably by these forefather people. Traps, of course, and things called anomalies, which tend to be in a lot of cases, like electrical discharges in the air, but also kind of cover a few other things, but mostly you'll see a lot of them kind of as lightning, at least from what I've seen so far, but I assume there's going to be some variation on that. I've heard talk from the developer chats on the Kickstarter Discord that there's kind of some other stuff as well. In addition to all of those things, which is pretty cool by itself, the dome itself has been showing signs of consciousness. It's actually kind of reacting to the humans that have begun to enter it. And that comes to a head in the year 1976 of this alternate reality, where your character goes to investigate an object called C12 Nashville, which is basically just a designation they've given one of the relics they've found underneath the dome. Now this place, C12 Nashville that is, and all of the area before at a place they call Magellan Station, which is kind of your onboarding into Cronus, because you start the game as an employee of Cronus who just recently got hired. Which I love because that leaves your backstory for role-playing completely open. You join one of 5 wings, which are the silver, blue, black, white, and orange, which represent, typically speaking, your lot in life before you came to Cronus. Again, it kind of lets you role play with black being the military wing, blue being the engineering wing, silver being the administrative wing, white being the medical wing, orange being ex-prisoners who do like menial stuff around Cronus. And they let you kind of build your backstory that way. But they're not binding in any way. Just because you're in Blackwing doesn't even mean you have to be good with a gun. You can then pick all your stats. But again, that's more character creation, which I will make a separate video to cover very thoroughly. But suffice to say, you're an employee, you start at Cronus, you come to the Dome, you investigate C-12 Nashville, which turns out to be an entity that begins calling itself the Maelstrom. Now, when the Maelstrom activates by you investigating this area known as C-12 Nashville, the Maelstrom is a telepathic entity that is kind of created to serve the previous civilization. So it's unclear if it's an AI or if it's like some sort of mysterious being in and of itself, but suffice to say it's a telepathic entity that was designed to help the forefathers. However, when the Maelstrom comes active, it rages across the desert inside the Dome, which causes everyone to lose contact with the outside world, of course, but it also infects the mind of everyone it encounters. It's a little vague on what exactly it means by infects these people, but it would assume like they drive them crazy or something, but that's kind of being intentionally left vague as a plot device, so they haven't really went too in-depth with what that actually means. So probably something like driving people mad or swaying them to its side in some way. But that said, once all of that happens, once the Maelstrom is activated, you get put into a technology-induced stasis for 5 years, and you come to, and the world has completely changed. The Maelstrom activating is essentially this world's apocalypse, at least for the inside of the Dome. Again, it's a plot device. No one knows what's happening outside the Dome because, again, the people that come in can't get out. So with all that said, you're stuck in the Dome, of course. The goal essentially becomes to try to find the Maelstrom and see if you can't solve what is happening. And then from that point, once you're done with the small tutorial area, which again is the Magellan station as well as C-12 Nashville, and then that becomes, after the event, just a wide open sandbox, very similar to Fallout 2. You know, you bring up a map, you travel to different areas throughout the Dome, and it kind of does random encounters as you travel, of course. Again, if you're familiar with things like Pillars of Eternity's way of travel, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that, it's very standard CRPG fare if you're unfamiliar with it. But that's how you'll be traveling around and exploring, and then at that point you'll be interacting with factions that are also inside the Dome, because remember, there's like an entire corporation of people. We're talking like a massive metropolitan amount of people inside the Dome when everything happens. So when you come to and you begin exploring, trying to figure out what happened, you'll be interacting with factions, which all, of course, have a justice system, because, you know, obviously that's fun to do. There's a day-night cycle, of course, the random encounters, which I mentioned. There will be companions that you'll get to travel with. They haven't really given any information on those, so unfortunately I don't really have any information there to give at the moment. But there will be companions, that much I know. So as you can see, there's a lot going on. That combined with basically everything I've just told you and the gameplay, of course, playing as you're watching this. I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to be really cool. A heavily Fallout-inspired CRPG, post-apocalyptic sci-fi. And with all of that stuff said in the gameplay, I hope I've given you a very good overview of what this game is, what it's going to be about, kind of some of the stuff you're going to do. Role-playing is obviously a huge deal, very role-playing focused. I can't stress that enough. Most CRPGs are, let's be honest, but with this one, very much the same stuff. Very kind of in the vein of Divinity with trying to give you choices and your own way to handle situations and tackle. And just to mention it again, sometime in the future, hopefully Monday, I'll have a video up about character creation. I want to start there first, and then I'll kind of go into some more nuanced topics with further videos. But again, with this video, I just wanted to kind of show everybody what the game was, give like a first look at the art style, the gameplay, things like that. Remember, it is still in the beta, so again, some things are subject to change. But I hope you guys enjoyed what you see. If you're looking forward to this game, I actually recommend you check out its Kickstarter page, its Steam page. There are options for pre-purchase. You can actually purchase an option to get into the closed beta for yourself. I would encourage you to do that if you like this video, of course. But check out all the resources, kind of read up on it. You know, there's probably more information out there than I've given you in this short video, because there's a lot of information out there about this. Again, more videos coming. Hopefully I'll have the first one up Monday. If you like the game, check it out. If you like the channel, hope you subscribe and stick around. I could use the sub numbers. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day either way.